Welcome back. Now that you've had a chance to check out a little bit of ways, or check out a few ways, I suppose, to gauge your gambling thoughts, let's talk a little bit about getting back to work. We have the Manufacturers Forum coming to town this week. Joining me to talk about that, Rachel Sullivan. Rachel, thank you so much for coming in today.
Thank you for having me.
We would love to talk with you a little bit about this Manufacturers Forum, mostly because, to be honest, when I sat down with the paperwork, I didn't exactly know what it was about. Please explain.
Good. Well, I think a lot of people are familiar with conferences and seminars that take place. They may be provincial or national in nature, and a lot of times they're for manufacturing conference, you know, that might be national. But it is about information that's relevant to the sector. Perhaps there's new innovations and they're showcasing it to the industry in broad terms. But the Manufacturers Forum that we're having on November 10th here in Simcoe County is bringing that all home and making it more localized. So what's relevant to our local manufacturers? What do they want to hear about? So this is a very customized, localized conference or forum, if you will, on November 10th.
Got it. I love that you're keeping it local. So Rachel, how do you tie into this? What is your role here?
Well, at the County of Simcoe, what we've been doing is trying to find ways that we can support the sector, the various sectors that are important to us in Simcoe County, manufacturing being, of course, a key one. It's one of our biggest employment-based sectors. So we want to find relevant ways. We don't want to commit that that sin that government does in the past, where they play that ivory tower syndrome, and this is what we think they need. We actually want to make sure that everything that we do is in response to what the industry needs or is looking for.
Got it. You know what, I really appreciate that, especially with, you know, Small Business Week just being right behind us. I love that you're localizing it. Like you said, you've got local entrepreneurs coming together to talk about their industries, their problems, which you're there to address at the County of Simcoe, and throwing together this forum so that they've got all of the people in the area to kind of bounce off with these types of things. So what have been some of the problems they've brought to your attention?
Well, absolutely. Thanks for the question. We've been asking a lot of manufacturers in the area over the past year those very questions, like what's of interest to you, what are your challenges? And some of the things that they've told us is B2B or business-to-business interactions, and they'd like our support with helping to increase that. We've got stories where manufacturers have run into each other in other provinces, and they start talking and they realize, wait a second, I'm getting that product from Ohio when I could be getting it from just down the street. So they realize that there is an opportunity with increased business-to-business interaction. That happens all the time naturally at conferences. So having this forum and bringing those people together is a natural way to do it. But we actually want to introduce a unique element too, and we've opened it up to manufacturers and supporters of manufacturers to actually do little pitch sessions. So they can almost do a 1-minute info session throughout the day on what services or products that they may have that could be of interest to others in the area.
Oh, wow. See, now, and I love this because when you're coming together, you say they've met in other provinces. How ironic is that? Because they're so close and yet they don't connect. So this is a wonderful opportunity on top of the fact that this could really improve their business sense. Because now, like you said, rather than shipping from out of the country, you're going to save on freight, certainly, shipping costs and whatnot. As well, you might be saving on product because it is just right down the road.
Absolutely.
So that's amazing.
Yes.
So some of the things you guys tend to address at this forum.
So some other topics that are of course interest to the local industry, funding. How do we access funding? What funding is available?
Great.
As well as what innovation supports. Many people don't even realize that we've got Georgian College and Lakehead University right in our backyard, and they are very active with supporting industry, but a lot of people don't know that. So we've got a couple of breakout sessions that will focus on that, but the number one topic that we've been hearing a lot about from manufacturers is labor. And we've got a very unique story in Simcoe County. You hear stories in other communities about how manufacturers are very active looking for work for their companies. The story that we're hearing in Simcoe County is different. We have manufacturers that are turning contracts down, and it is because they don't have the labor force to satisfy that need.
And isn't that shocking? Because there are people looking for work. So
absolutely.
How are we not coming together on this?
Well, and I think there's some longer term and short term approaches to all of that. Part of it is debunking some of the myths about manufacturing. When you stop and think about manufacturing, and if the audience would stop and think, what images come into your head when you think of manufacturing?
You know, for me, I guess it's like old school, right? I think of the overalls and the factory and the smokestacks and well, I hate to say it, but you know, the mess, the dirty, kind of rough-looking.
Absolutely, and that's a common image that's out there that we need to actually correct, because that's not what's happening. And we've got a lot of very innovative companies in our area doing very cool work. We've got companies that are doing a lot of robotics work. We've got businesses that are very diversified. A lot of people think about manufacturing in Simcoe County. Of course, Honda. Honda's a key employer, absolutely critical in our community, and a lot of automotive manufacturers around that. So a subsector of manufacturing. But Simcoe County is a lot broader than that.
Quite a broad spectrum.
Absolutely, and that's a strength of our area too, in our manufacturing base. We've got companies that are working in the aerospace industry, nuclear technology, information technology, the aerospace, the list goes on.
It's quite underestimated.
Absolutely, and the clientele that some of our manufacturers are serving is fantastic, world class. In fact, we've got companies that are serving Bombardier, Porsche, BMW, De Beers, Louis Vuitton. So it's quite diverse, more diverse than I think we realize.
People are aware.
And it's a huge strength in our area, a lot of hidden gems that we need to celebrate a lot more.
All right. Well, that sounds incredible. Let's talk a little bit about this forum. It's being held on November the 10th.
That's right.
Obviously, manufacturers can go. How do they find out about it?
Well, they can contact our office or our website. So just email us at edo@simcoe.ca or our website edo.simcoe.ca. And we've got information on our news page about the forum.
Sounds magnificent. Now, you're not going to want to wait on this. Tell us why.
Well, the space is limited, and registration's been open, and it's already progressing quite quickly. So, yes, we'd encourage anyone who's interested in joining us to register as soon as possible.
Super. Breakfast is available, I believe I read?
Yes.
So that's something to consider. Bring the team. Come on down. Find out a little bit about what's going on in your community when it comes to manufacturers. Rachel, thank you so much for being here with us today. We appreciate the update by all means. And don't you go anywhere, because we got a chance to get out of the studio and have a little bit of fun at Everest Cemetery. That's coming up next.